Hello and welcome to the Bible verse of the day. I apologize today, we were having some problems with the technology and it hasn't been working, and finally I got it working, so I'm posting it right now. Catch up. I'm gonna have tomorrow ready in the morning because I'm back into having everything working properly. So I apologize for that, but let's go into the verse of the day. It's a little longer today, so we're gonna go directly to it. We're gonna skip some steps that we're not skipping. I'm just already know that you're gonna be doing it on your own, and you don't need me to explain some things. We're gonna go directly into the Bible verse. It's Matthew chapter 16, verse 24. I'm gonna put it in the screen and we're gonna read it together. Okay, here we are, Matthew chapter 16, verse 24. It says, "Then Jesus said to his disciples, 'If anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.'" Jesus said to his disciples, "If anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." Of course, in the first step, I'm asking you to go to the Bible Hub. I'm not going to do that today so that we can start minimizing the time that we spend, but read it in other versions. This is for you to start discovering other uses of the word. Remember that they're all translations and they're all translating from the original text, and then that's what I do. And here when I explain and when I give you different meanings to the words, I've been already in the interlinear Bible and the lexicon and just finding the meaning to these key elements and key words. Let's extract. There's a lot of good stuff in this Bible verse, so let's go together. We're going to start there. It says, "Then Jesus said to his disciples." Okay, let's go to here to the word disciples and see what is the original word here. And this is not necessarily something that will change the meaning or the interpretation, but it's important for us to know who were considered disciples. So a disciple is a learner. I'm going to write it here, a learner. And also, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, a learner. It also can be translated to a pupil. Someone that is learning. Also, very interesting is that the word disciple here is also the root of the word is math, which is where we get the word math in that we go and we learn math. But basically with this root means a mental effort to learn. So basically it has to do with learning, but it's an actual mental effort to learn. So basically a disciple is the one that wants to learn, is the one that it's submitting himself to a learning process, and Jesus wants us to be his disciples. So what that is telling us already is that Jesus wants us to learn. Jesus wants your effort to learn from him and to submit yourself to him. Now, this is what he wants us to learn. So here we go to the actual message of the verse. The other part was just a description of what was happening. Jesus was speaking to his learners, to his disciples. And in this way, you can apply this to you because you are a disciple of Jesus. You are learning from him and you want to submit yourself to him. So this is what he says to you. He's saying, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. So let's go and see what is this anyone wishes. Well, first of all, let's go to this word wishes. This can be translated to desires. If anyone desires, it can also be willing. Now that's a good word that will explain a lot in this verse, but we'll come back to it. And want. So this wishes talks about desires, willing, and want to come. And this come can be translated to enter or turn. So that's interesting one, because this implies a change of direction, right? Turn. So if anyone desires to turn after me or to enter into being after me, and this is what this means. This one can also be translated to follow. there's a big reference in this word after me. There's a big reference to position or place. The word can also be translated literally to behind. If you want to be behind me, right? So that's why it kind of relates to follow. You're following me, you're behind me. But it has a lot to do with position, and we will see why this is so important for us to note. So if anyone desires, is willing, wants, wishes to enter into being behind me, into being following me, into being next to me, we can say too, in the position, right? What you have to do, this is just one word in the Greek, because this passage was written in Greek. He must deny himself. This is one word that means, and this is one of the key words of the whole message here, of the whole Bible verse, to disregard. Deny himself, disregard, or to reject, to abstain. And then one that I really think explains a lot of what this Bible verse is trying to tell us is this last one, which is to demote. All right, so I'm gonna put that one in parentheses because we're gonna go back to that one. So you must demote or reject yourself or abstain from yourself, and take up, which literally can just be translated to, this take up, to carry or to raise your cross. Now, there's a very interesting annotation here, is that you gotta carry your cross, you gotta be able to raise your cross. So it's telling you gotta take your cross. But what is your cross? What is he must take as his cross. So he's not talking about this is not Jesus' cross. He's talking about your cross, the reader's cross, or the one that wants to follow him. What cross? What is it talking about? Well, first of all, you need to realize that it's talking about the Roman cross, to start us. This was a cross that symbolized to them persecution. So this is the meaning here, persecution. It's not necessarily, and this is important for you to know, it's not necessarily suffering what God is talking about or what Jesus is trying to tell you. He's not telling you gotta be ready to suffer. No, that's not what it's talking about. So I'm gonna make an annotation here, not suffering, but it has a lot to do with persecution. This is the key word, persecution. So that in our context can be translated to hard times or hardships. You gotta be willing to endure hardships. You see, that's making sense now, what Jesus was saying. Now let's follow here, and we'll follow here. So you gotta be willing to deal with hardships. I'm gonna use this just now, just so we can kind of have a little highlight there, just for reference of what's the most accurate or the most important translation of the word. And follow me. Now this follow me is different to the one that we read at the beginning that's translated to come after me. This is follow me. This is a completely different word. Now this is where the treasure is in this Bible verse. I was reading this Bible verse, and at the beginning I was like, okay, yeah, this is pretty normal, pretty, okay, self-explained. But then this follow me comes along and he completely blew me away, because there's such a great message here, just such a great, amazing message from Jesus here. This follow me is not talking about position, it's talking about relationship. Listen to me. Oh man. Okay, this follow me can be translated to accompany. It's talking about attend. That can be a translation, attend. Another translation could be follow along. To join, that's another translation of this follow me. Join me, to join. And then one a colloquial translation to this expression here is to Side with the party. Side with the party. And another one, so there's a lot of, so this is a very rich, you can tell this is a very rich word. I'm going to put it on down here because I don't have more space. So to be in the same way with, and this is important word, to be in the same way with. So basically this following me. Okay, let's go read the Bible verse and let's see the treasure already here just with the annotations. All right, let's read the annotations. So basically Jesus is talking to you and me because we're disciples, we're learning, and this is what he wants us to learn. So that's why it's important to note what disciple means. This means he's teaching us, and he's teaching us this. He's teaching us that if any of us is willing and desires and wishes to enter into being a follower, you see, we're learning that if we want to follow him, if we want to be, maybe we want to be, you see, he's talking about our desires, what we want. You see, he's talking about wishes. So maybe what you want, he's saying, if you want to be in a place next to me, or you want to be behind me, you want to be following me, what you gotta do is you gotta demote yourself or reject yourself, in basically saying it's abstain of yourself, almost like saying it's not about what you want. Listen to me, this is awesome. You want, he's saying, so you want this, but I'm telling you, this is not about what you want. You gotta be willing, number one, to endure hard times. You gotta be willing to persecution. But you gotta know that if you are willing to take the hard time, so it's almost like saying, if you're willing to pay the price, you're not going to be with me in a position as if you are just next to me. You're gonna actually accompany me. You're going to follow along with me. You're not gonna be in a position, you're gonna be in a relationship. You're not just gonna be in the same place as I am, you're going to be in the same journey with me. You're going to be siding with me and with my purpose and with my ways. You're going to be in the same way with me, not just where I am, but you're going to be with me in the way. You see, it changes everything. It's almost like God saying, maybe you got it wrong. Maybe you just want to, some people want to be Jesus disciples, and they just say, I want to go to church and be with God. I go to church to be with God. And then Jesus says, that's not what it's all about. I want you to be able to do life with me, and you take life. Listen to this is teaching. You take life with the good and the blessing. The bad is that there's going to be hard times, but don't worry about the hard times, because you're going to be in my company. You're going to be I'm going to attend, and we're going to attend with each other. We're going to be following along, and you're going to be siding with me. So even the hard times, we're going to endure them together. You see that? You see what I'm saying? So he's saying, yeah, you got to take up your cross, but you got to know that you're going to take up your cross, but you're going to be with me. God is saying you're going to take up your cross and the hard times will come, but you're going to be on my side anyway. You're going to be in my company anyway. So that's how Christian life is about. That's what Christian life is all about. That's what disciples are. That's what, if you want to follow him, don't just try to follow him in a name, in a position, in a place. Try to do life with him. That's what Jesus is saying. Oh man, that's awesome. That's an amazing Bible verse. Now, God is speaking to me here. Let's use our highlighters really quickly. We already know that we use purple. We're going to use the purple for any reference to God, Jesus, his nature. So we have here, of course. Then Jesus said. I'm going to highlight the part said too, because then when I read this Bible verse, I can realize, okay, good. This message is from Jesus, and Jesus is God. And this is what he said. I'm going to use yellow here because this is what I need to be paying attention to, right? This is what he said. He said to his disciples, if anyone wishes to come after me, okay, so there's a teaching there. Yes, I want to come after him, but more than that, I want to do what he wants me to do, and this is what he says. Let's use the green. This is my part, okay? Remember, we use the green for my obedience, my actions. What does Jesus want me to do. So he's saying, hey, is this what you want? You want to be a follower, my follower? You want to be my disciple? Well, this is what I want you to do. We do agree for what he wants us to do. He wants me to deny himself, and to take up my cross, highlight that, and to follow him. But this follow him, I'm gonna use the mouse here. This follow him is different to this follow him. Say, if you want to follow me, you gotta follow me. But what it's saying is that if you want to follow me in a position, in a place, I want you to follow me in a relationship, in a journey. It's not about it being called a Christian or a disciple. It's about being in a relationship with your God. So that's just awesome to me. That's where you already know I'm gonna use right here. Let me go look for my right here. This follow me. This is a bump to me. So I'm gonna put here right away, because I'm going to the symbols, and I'm gonna use here this little dynamite that says wow. I like that, and I'm gonna use my red highlighter so that I can see it like that. Boom, wow. There's a revelation there. He doesn't want me to just try to follow him in name or in position. He wants me to engage in a relationship with him, to accompany him, to follow along with him, to side with him. Oh man, that's so good, so good, so good. Now, of course, this whole thing, starting in over here, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself. That's an advice. So I'm gonna go over here at the start of that. Oh, I think I made a mistake here. There. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna zoom in, and over here I'm gonna use my symbol, which is a traffic light. My symbol of an advice. Jesus is giving us an advice, so I'm using that. So what I do is a little traffic light. All right, so that reminds me, okay, there's an advice there for me. Then I have two new symbols for you guys. The first one is every time that there's a mention of Jesus, I'm going to use a cross, a red cross. Let me see if this is red. No, this is red. So basically what I do is right where I see the name of Jesus, I do, this is a little bit too thick, so I'm going to redo it with just a little bit thinner. And every time I see Jesus or a reference to Jesus, then I do a cross. I normally do like a little shade there. I don't think it looks good. You can just leave it like that. I like it like that. Then Jesus says, so every time I see a cross, that's a reference of Jesus, you see? And then the other symbol is in disciples. Every time I see a reference to a disciple or discipleship or what a disciple needs to do, then I use this little symbol. Nobody, I'll do it with brown. And it's just footsteps, because disciple follows, you see, but here we're learning what really following is. So this is too thick, so I'm gonna do it again a little bit more thinner. Okay, here we go. Let me delete that. Okay, here we go. So what I do is just 4 little footsteps, and that is my symbol of disciples. You can try to color it or highlight it. So what I do is I can get a thin highlighter, find a color, a brown color or something like that. Something, yeah, that will work. And then I can just try to highlight. I don't think it worked. I didn't select it. Let me see. Let's do it again. Okay, I think that will work. So basically, maybe it's too thick. Let's do it thinner. That's good. So I do like that, like 4 footsteps, and that is my symbol for disciples or discipleship or anything related to discipleship. All right. So basically, we can read this one last time and finish here. Let me make sure I have it in the full screen for you. Okay, that's good. Let's lower it here. Okay, perfect. So basically Jesus, and you see I identify it really quickly because I have it here, Jesus. he's God, right? Jesus is telling me that if I want to learn something, he has an advice for me. As his disciple, I'm a disciple, and I'm a follower of Jesus. So it says, if you want to, if you desire, and if you want to, and if you're willing to follow me and to be in the same place as me and position yourself behind me, following me, then what you need to do, now we go to green because it's what you need to do, is disregard yourself, reject yourself, abstain of yourself, demote yourself, almost like maybe it doesn't have to do with what you want, but with what you have to do. So instead of wishing to be a follower, what you have to do to actually be a follower is to carry, to raise, to take up, to be willing, basically, to endure persecution and to pay the price of hard times, but knowing that this is not the goal. This is just a little part of being in a journey. I want you to follow me, but not just be there. I want you to accompany me. I want you to follow along with me. I want you to attend. I want you to join me. I want you to side with me, side with the party, to be in the same way with me. There's a revelation for me, is that God doesn't want us to be there just for position or name, but he wants to be there for relationship. You see, that's the difference between religion and relationship. That would be another application down here that I would put, is God, Jesus in this case, is not asking you to enter into a religion with him. He's asking you to enter into a relationship that, yes, will include hard times, but at the same time will include his presence, and he's the one that makes this happen. So the revelation is he's inviting you into a journey, an amazing journey in which you side with him, you join him, you follow along, and you are with him. That's awesome. That's the Bible verse of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to see you tomorrow for the Bible verse of tomorrow. So this is amazing. I like it. And there's a sermon here. There's a great sermon about what it really means to follow Jesus. There's a difference here between religious efforts to follow Jesus and real efforts to follow Jesus. It's about religion or position, or about relationship and journey with my Jesus. That's what I want. I don't know about you, but I don't want to just be seen. You see, position is about what people will see. Oh, I don't want to be seen as a Christian. I want to live as a Christian. Oh man, there's a lot here. You can see, as you keep reading and meditating on it, there's more on it. There's a message here from God in just one Bible verse. I'll see you tomorrow for the Bible verse of the day.